It's officially alt season, at least according to this graphic in front of us, with many altcoins absolutely exploding right now. You've got XRP going crazy, Algorand, HBAR, a lot of the utility coins are now catching massive bids. ONDO is up 50% today, so we do have to discuss the current state of the market because things are flying, things are moving very, very fast. And I want to talk about what I think could be the next rotation, the next flow of funds beyond XRP. Is it going to continue to be into utility coins? If so, what coins can you look at positioning in right now? Is it too late to position in things like XRP, HBAR, etc.? Are memes going to catch a bid anytime soon? We're going to discuss all of that stuff and more in today's video. I'm going to give you a full market update where I think the rotations will go to next, where I do anticipate the market is now heading. And then at the end of the video, I do have a little Q&A for you so I can answer some of your most requested questions. So this is a crazy market right now. You have Bitcoin stalling whilst alts absolutely explode. And it's not just every alt that's exploding. It's mostly the utility-based alts. So you have RWA coins like ONDO up 50% today. Things like AIOZ, HBAR, VeChain, many prominent coins from last cycle like Sandbox, Chainlink, all pumping. Phantom, Polygon. It really feels like we've almost time traveled back to 2021. Like retail's come back into the market and they've chosen to bid the exact same things that were popular in 2021. And of course, this is being primarily led by XRP, which if you look at my chart, has been on an absolute run. It's pretty insane. And I do want to congratulate the XRP army because they have stuck by their coin through thin and thin, whilst it was chopping sideways, whilst memes were pumping, whilst Solana was pumping. A lot of them didn't capitulate. They kept accumulating, maintained conviction, and it's a real lesson in conviction because you've seen a 4x in just a matter of a couple of weeks. Donald says here, I've been spending some time on the XRP subreddit. Never seen so many people win. Literally everyone euphoric, buying cars, paying for weddings, buying houses, paying off mortgages. They've been DCAing for years and are up giga now. It's actually quite funny to see. I think it's personally great to see the community actually get rewarded for all this time seeing their token go sideways and now suddenly seeing like the massive mindshare. As you can see, XRP is #1 for mindshare that the token is now garnering. And what this has done is really trigger like a wealth generation event for a lot of normies. We've seen this capital flooding into XRP, which is now starting to leak down into the rest of the utility space. So there are some real opportunities now being created by this XRP run. So even if you are on the sidelines, I definitely wouldn't feel FOMO right now. I'd feel excited about the opportunities that this potentially unlocks for the rest of the market, a few of which we're going to discuss today. Because overall, whether you're in XRP, whether you're out of XRP, I think we all can agree it's actually good for the space. It's good for the altcoin market, and that is definitely reflected on the charts. Let's take a look at what the charts are showing. They're showing massive pumps across other utility coins like HBAR and Algorand and AIOZ and ONDO, which has been performing like crazy. ONDO's at $1.78 now, and I don't know if you guys remember, but I was one of the first bulls, I feel like, on ONDO, all the way back in January this year when I did this video at 21 cent ONDO. Now, obviously, I've been taking profits on the way up. I've even rotated into some other RWA coins, which we'll discuss later in today's video. So I definitely didn't fully maximize my trade, but it still has been one of my best trades of the cycle, and this one has been an amazing one for the audience. I did rotate some of my position, as I was very public about a few weeks ago, into coins like CHEX and CPOOL. I'll give you an update on them today. Luckily, CHEX is doing very, very well. So it's not like I missed out on massive gains with that rotation. I've managed to pretty much keep up with equal gains on the CHEX side. But ONDO is an absolute beast right now. And yeah, it was amazing to be early into that if you were a subscriber of the channel back in January. I don't think all of you were though, because I've grown a lot recently. So if you do want to subscribe for the early alpha, make sure you click that sub button and click that post notification bell so you don't miss a single video. I absolutely love the community that we have here. Love the community in my Discord. The vibes are really good right now, and I think, you know, we've been hitting a lot of great trades, and hopefully over the next couple of weeks we continue to do so. So a lot of the coins right now that are outperforming, as you can see, other utility coins. You've got Link as well, also now starting to make a big run. This is another coin that's very closely tied to XRP because a lot of people view XRP as like a TradFi coin because it has lots of partnerships, but Link has a lot of these partnerships that are actually established, probably even arguably more established than Ripple, having Swift. I mean, you could just see it in front of you. JP Morgan, like they use the Oracle data that Chainlink provides to actually power a lot of their services. Anytime you tokenize an asset and bring it on chain, you can use Chainlink, and it's pretty much the top Oracle in crypto. So I think Chainlink is a major beneficiary of this current XRP narrative that we are seeing, and we are now starting to see that reflect in terms of price. I honestly think Chainlink can keep running here. So this is the first little alpha tip for today. There's going to be a few throughout this video. I think Chainlink, with it just breaking out right now, is definitely one that could continue running. So on dips, on the lower time frames, especially when these breakout moves happen, like these consolidation periods, even if you want to go into the hourly chart, you can actually look to position and, risk manage on the way up in a coin like this, because I honestly think the next couple of weeks will continue to be bullish for Chainlink as a large cap, because it has that very obvious TradFi bid. I saw Hasaka alluding to Link before as well, and I think this trade could still play out. So I'll talk about a couple more in a minute here, but Link is definitely one to keep your eye on. And some of these other coins I'm not so interested in right now, like Sandbox. I don't think the gaming rotation is quite ready yet. I will discuss that later in the video, what I think is going to happen with gaming. Polygon as well, it feels a little bit forced. Gala, these aren't the kind of coins I'm bidding. I'm more looking for really utility focused coins, which we'll discuss, that really hit the top narratives right now. I think RWA, DePin, these are going to be very strong beneficiaries. AI to some extent. I think a lot of people, that bag hold XRP, they aren't necessarily in the meme trenches. I don't know if they're just going to gamble their XRP winnings on memes straight away. I think a lot of them are going to go down the risk curve, look at more utility alts. People want to believe in something, and I'll discuss this more later in the video, I do believe memes are going to be a big part of this cycle still. I think for now we are currently seeing that really strong utility wave, and it's probably wise not to fade that. And I think the rotationary capital most likely, and speculative capital that also missed XRP, will most likely go into a lot of this utility stuff right now that either has close ties to XRP, has this TradFi narrative. I think right now the coins to really watch are the TradFi coins. This is the environment right now where we're seeing a lot of retail come in, and when the mind shares surrounding XRP and when the mind shares surrounding these other payment network coins, these ISO coins, I think that really bodes well for the sectors which really embrace the whole TradFi argument of asset tokenization, and BlackRock and Larry Fink. That's obviously why ONDO is performing really well, and potential new laws in America with the Trump administration easing regulation, the ability to now tokenize with less regulatory overreach and headaches. All of this is, I think, boding really well for a couple sectors. RWA probably being the biggest one that comes to mind, and our RWA bags are absolutely packed. And I'll give you an update on those today. Obviously, Mantra being a big holding, ONDO, and then CHEX and CPOOL as my new big holdings. All of those are performing really, really well, but there is one out of all of them that I do prefer right now, which we will talk about. But quickly before that, let's just go through Total 3, because this is a crazy run that we are seeing in the altcoin index. Now, the Total 3 chart is being driven largely by coins like XRP and Link that are running, but even if you look at the others chart, it just broke out as well, and this actually excludes XRP. Made a mistake on a Twitter post earlier today, if you saw that, and switched the charts by accident. But the others chart is the one to look at that excludes XRP and some of those majors and Cardano, etc., because they're in the top 10. So this is more of a broader altcoin index. And then your Total 3 chart is going to track every coin excluding Bitcoin and ETH, so this will include XRP. So Total 3 is ready to rip. This is what we've been waiting for. How exciting is this? The whole, I feel bull run, beginning of the bull run, we've been talking about alts reaching the tipping point, finally breaking above, and what that could potentially do for prices. And we broke the tipping point here, and now we're pushing to all-time highs. And I think alts go into price discovery very, very soon. We see on the others chart here, we just broke past the tipping point, and we're a little bit behind because others hasn't caught a crazy bid, obviously, compared to Total 3, because Total 3 is largely being driven by, XRP and Link and Cardano and these coins. HBAR, if that's in the top 10, now catching a lot of bids. So it's amazing to finally see the alts waking up. And this is also coming at a time, and I spoke about this a lot on the channel, that Bitcoin dominance is breaking down. Remember, I said when dominance breaks down, that is often going to be the trigger of an alt season. And look at this on the weekly chart. So I'm not playing funny games on the 1 hour or the 4 hour. If you put the money noodle, which is a moving average indicator, alongside the chart, you can see that we are now starting to significantly break below. This to me looks like a reversal. So obviously, if you want to be really safe, you can wait for like multiple week confirmation, almost monthly confirmation. So drop below, bearish retest, lower low, and then like, yay, we're in full alt season. But I mean, this is already the beginning of it, right? This is the original break that you need to start getting the wheels turning here. If you do look at the classic altcoin season index chart, you can see we have just peaked our heads above for the first time in a long time. But if you do zoom out, right, even in 2021, we had this initial run up, we had a consolidation, we had another run up. Look at how long we stayed there. We stayed there from March all the way until July. So you can actually stay for quite a long time. Earlier in the year, we only just tagged it and dropped below. But the big explosive alt seasons, it's not the fact that we're technically in alt season that makes it explosive. It's the duration that you remain in alt season. So that's what I'll really be watching closely on the lower time frames. And of course, I'll keep you updated on these videos based on my gut feel. What you really want to be looking for is momentum. Like, how do the alts actually look versus Bitcoin at any given time? Because you are, at the end of the day, trading momentum on altcoins. And the more momentum they have as they stay in altcoin season, the longer the duration is likely to last. You know, if we start seeing alts start to look really toppy and funding getting really stupid, you could probably assert there's going to be a pullback. I don't think there will be a pullback soon. I've got a feeling it's coming. I've been bullish for the last few weeks, and obviously, that's really paid off. My portfolio, I think, just hit a new all-time high today, which has been absolutely incredible. Congrats to everyone else that's also hitting all-time highs. I'm getting a lot of messages in the Discord saying, you know, thanks, Mars, for helping me. My portfolio just hit an all-time high, which is pretty incredible to see because we aren't even really on an all-time high. Well, we aren't on an all-time high for Total 3 or others. Yet a lot of us are hitting all-time highs in our portfolios. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's just due to our performance by being in certain coins in certain sectors. Don't get me wrong. Some of my coins right now aren't performing amazing. Like, some of my memes are really stagnant. They're not really moving, but not everything moves at once. Right now, my RWA bags are really moving. My AI bags are really moving. And you have known for the last like 6 months to a year, what have I talked about? Memes, AI, RWA. So there was a long time where the AI and RWA contingent, which were just accumulating, wasn't performing, right? This is how rotations work in crypto, while memes were performing. Now memes aren't performing, but you're seeing AI and RWA really performing well. So things in crypto rotate, and that's why you need a lot of patience. The XRP holders personify patience because they exemplify a group of people that have been holding this coin for months and years of underperformance, and then all of a sudden it performs, right? So it's just the lesson that if you have conviction in a coin, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You can perform really, really well if you just have patience. And that's also why it's wise not to be so quick to judge. Like, I remember a few months ago, I was making like AI videos, and some people were like, oh, Mars, you know, AI is not running. It's not hot. It's all about memes. And then now AI is starting to run. And yes, maybe we were 2 months too early, but that's a good thing. You want to be early. You want to position. You want to have time to position. So then things, you know, finally run. And that's what you'll find in altcoin season. Like, at some point in alt season, pretty much everything that's quality, so has a good narrative, good fundamentals, and good tokenomics, ends up running at some point. And it's not going to be all at once because there isn't a crazy amount of capital coming into the space still. It's still not like 2021 where there's just capital flooding endlessly into the space. Like, you still need to be quite patient because not every narrative like gaming, AI, memes, RWA is going to run at the exact same time. L1s, infra, L2s, you're going to see sector outperformance. And right now it's all about utility. So let's actually discuss that now. And then later in the video, I'll talk maybe a bit more about gaming and memes and how I think the rotations could look. This is very interesting. I went onto CoinGecko and you can see that the top 100 cryptocurrencies are all above $1 billion now. Like, and this wasn't like that last cycle. Like, so it's crazy to see the widespread nature of this cycle in terms of like, there are now a lot of coins above $1 billion. There are now a lot of coins performing really well. Now, I want to touch on XRP for a second. I did this tweet here saying, if you missed XRP, who cares? I did too. I didn't have a bag of XRP. And I'm completely okay with that because I didn't have conviction in XRP. I personally didn't have conviction. Was I wrong in terms of price performance? Absolutely. XRP is performing really well. Maybe I should have left curve more. But the reality is you're never going to pick every single token in this market. There are coins that I did have a lot of conviction in, like CHEX, like CPOOL, that are performing really well now, like some of the AI coins, which are absolutely exploding, right? I had conviction in them, you can't have conviction in every single coin. There are some coins I have conviction in right now which are also lagging. A couple memes are doing well today, like Lucky's really pick up, doing really well. But some of my other memes, like, Whiff and some other coins are being really slow, right? So not every coin that you hold is going to be a big winner. Not every coin you hold is going to be a big winner all at once. Like ONDO, for example, big winner of mine this cycle, but not every single RWA coin that I've ever invested in has gone up. But you don't need every coin to go up. You only need to hit a few winners out of your entire portfolio to make a lot of money. It's called the Pareto principle. So 80% of your gains are generally going to come from 20% of your bag. So I think me personally, I've probably invested in I've invested or traded in around 50 tokens this cycle, right? I think only 10 of them have made me significant money. When I say significant, I mean dollar value relative to my portfolio. I've probably made money on most of them because it's a bull run and we got in relatively early and I've been positioning since 2023 mostly, but a little bit in 2022. So everything's going to make money. So what I look at is what outperforms, and maybe only 10 out of the 50 have outperformed, but a few of those have absolutely killed it. ONDO being an example, Mantra being an example. Now we're seeing like CHEX become an example. Some of the AI coins I've spoken about recently are a great example. These are very strong outperformers in the market. Pepe, which was my first 100x this cycle. So you don't actually need to hit all 50. Like I haven't hit all 50. Maybe 40 were like average, or you might even lose money on them, and then 5 to 10 do really well and you make a lot of money. Drake even responds here, you only need 1 or 2 tokens to make a lot of money. And he's totally true. One high conviction play can make you a lot of money. I did a tweet earlier today about Lucky. It's this meme coin that I have a lot of conviction in and I haven't sold any. In fact, I've been adding more, whereas the post here, because I just have a lot of conviction in the thesis. Now, this could end up with me losing all my money. It could. And right now my position's sizable. And if I lost it, it would suck, but it's on paper. I have conviction, just like a lot of these XR people have conviction. And either I'm going to die on the hill and I'll accept it that my thesis was wrong, or I'm going to make a lot of money here. Sometimes crypto is very black and white like that. So you have to work out, what do you believe in? Buy stuff you believe in and stick to it. And that's ultimately what's going to make you the most money in crypto, having conviction in quality alts. So yeah, I think if you missed XRP, you should definitely be celebrating the people that have killed it on XRP, because they are exhibiting great marketing for the crypto space. They're getting more people into crypto. They're increasing crypto's market cap. I personally missed XRP, but I know that there's hundreds of coins that are still going to pull big multiples over the next few months, and you only need to find a handful of them to make huge gains. So it's up to you now to work out, all right, what's the next rotation? What other strong coins can I position in that could pull XRP-like gains? And look, XRP is as good as it's performed. It's up a 4x, which there are lots of coins which we speak about on the channel that have done 4x's and more. But I guess because of the magnitude of it, due to the market cap, it's more impressive, because pumping a $50 million coin 4x is quite easy. Pumping a multi-billion dollar coin, and at the time I think it was like 30 mil before the pump, that's 30 bills, before the pump. That's a lot harder, and I think that's why it's obviously gained so much attention due to that aspect. So now let's speak about rotationary capital. Where could that be going? We've already touched on Link being maybe an opportunity there. We know ONDO is performing really well, but I personally don't know, with the big unlock coming in 45 days, whether I would be buying that right now. So this tweet from Income Shark says, if you've been around before, you know that when XRP dies off, which always happens, and this happens with every token, not just XRP, you see a cool off, you'll see hundreds of billions going into other projects. This is the key point here, like the wealth effect of XRP holders getting rich. And now like all this extra liquidity in crypto and the attention that creates, stablecoins just reached a new high in terms of market cap. That's amazing for the space, more liquidity for the space, which definitely means more liquidity going into other projects. So as Income Shark says here, those being patient will reap the rewards, and those FOMO buying Ripple will have to bag hold for another 5 years. I think this is a little harsh because Ripple can keep going up, but it's not really where I'm looking. I'm looking at what's potentially next. Now, are XRP holders going to go and gamble all their profits on memes right now? I think eventually maybe we might see that rotation into memes, but I don't think it's going to happen yet. As Elio says, a lot of them are going to buy lower cap utility coins. You don't go from DCAing banker coins for 7 years to cat coins. Don't be ridiculous. And I think he's right. All the signs in the market right now are pointing to utility running. And that is where I am focusing a lot of my attention on now. Luckily, we've been preparing our portfolios for a lot of this with our RWA coins, especially like ONDO, CHEX, and CPOOL are all coins, as you can see here, that are in my portfolio that are lining up really well versus XRP. So here's a little bit of an alpha tip. If you go onto DeFi Llama, search DeFi Llama correlation matrix, you can actually enter select coins on the left. You can compare them to other coins, and you can see which coins are correlated to each other, which help you understand if you're trying to effectively buy a coin as a proxy for another coin. So let's say you want a higher beta upside coin to XRP, you can actually see what responds in terms of price. Now, it's very interesting. As I was doing this myself, I took a screenshot this morning. I went through XRP and then I compared it to a bunch of coins. And I found that right now, there are a few coins that it's most correlated to. And a lot of these are utility coins. So it's very correlated to AVAX, 0.92 correlation coefficient. Very correlated to Link. That's why I think Link could be a good play right now. Very correlated to HBAR and Atom. Personally, I'm not playing these just because they've run a lot and I personally don't have conviction, but there is correlation there from a trading perspective. ONDO has huge correlation, 0.95. It's like the Larry Fink asset tokenization meme almost at this point, even though it's an RWA coin. And then you've got CHEX and CPOOL. CHEX is very correlated. That's another TradFi coin coming in at a much lesser valuation. And then CPOOL's the least correlated of this list, but it's another RWA coin, which is still relatively correlated to all of these coins. Now, if you put in some other like L2s or memes or etc., you'll see the correlation drops off. So these utility coins right now are the ones that are moving together. So let's talk about ONDO, because that'll lead to the first sector that I'm really focusing on outside of Link, because that's definitely one that I think is a good coin to be long in right now. So you've got ONDO. ONDO is performing really well. As I said before, maybe it's not one I would open a new position in right now just because it has run up a lot and you've got those unlocks soon. No doubt this can keep running, but just for me personally, I'm looking at what could potentially have more upside. And for me, right now and for the last few weeks, I've kind of had this belief that it's CHEX. And this thesis is playing out, although ONDO is doing really well. So they're kind of like trying to out-muscle each other. But I think looking from a multi-month perspective, CHEX should outperform considering it's at I think a 450 mil FDV or 500 mil FDV if the token supply is an even number here. Let me just get you the exact amount so we are factually correct here on the channel, which of course I always strive to be. So yeah, $514 million market cap and FDV, so it's fully diluted. If you want to look at ONDO, ONDO has something ridiculous. I think it has to be 10 bill plus now, right? 17.6 bill, which is ridiculous. That would have CHEX at $35 for context, and it's at 50 cents. And then you've got Mantra at a multi-bill valuation, I think 6 bill, and this is at 500 mil, so that's a 12x away, right? So you can see here that although they're very correlated, there is still a lot more upside based on market cap and FDV in a token like CHEX. Now, does this mean it'll necessarily catch up? Obviously, ONDO has the exchange listings. It's the most prominent coin in terms of mindshare. No, I'm not expecting CHEX to be $33. I mean, I hope so, but I'm not expecting that. But all it needs to do is wake up a little bit in terms of the market's thinking towards the coin and the discrepancy to even out even 20% for this to, reach $2, $3, $4. So for me, this has been a high conviction one since 20 cents. You can see here in the Discord, I posted about this for the first time on the 21st of October when it was 21 cents, and it's now sitting at 2.5x up at 52 cents. Of course, I've also spoke a lot about it on the YouTube channel and on my Twitter, across pretty much all platforms. And I even highlighted it yesterday when it was under in the YouTube show, the price discovery level. I said, guys, CHEX is going to have a big week. And now you're seeing CHEX starting to have a big week, tying into the narrative that we're currently seeing with utility running, but also the fact that they just announced another 250 mil issuance from Powerdime. So basically, they've announced a partnership with Powerdime to tokenize 250 mil plus of virtual power purchase agreements. The BD is on another level for CHEX. Like if you see the deals they're doing behind the scenes, and I think a lot of them are going to start coming out over the next few days and weeks, it's bonkers. Like the numbers, I'll run you through them in a future show. It's absolutely bonkers. But their Web3 native marketing is not as good as an ONDO, or it's not as good as a Mantra. So then I feel like based on fundamentals, the market hasn't quite caught up. But I think once a lot of this stuff starts to get announced, and you saw that big announcement coming yesterday for 250 mil being issued using Shintai, I think you're going to see the discrepancy even out, and I think this gets to $1 billion plus very soon. So this is my biggest RWA bag right now. Very happy with how it's performing, but continuing to hold this, and hopefully it does go a lot higher. And I think with some of the announcements that are coming, I think it has a strong chance of doing so. If you do want to know more about the fundamentals, by the way, I have discussed it a lot on previous shows, but basically it's the Shopify of RWA. It allows you to bring real assets, tokenize them on chain using CHEX as a platform. So you won't necessarily know, this is the idea, that it is CHEX issuing these billions of dollars of assets on chain, but it is in the back end. Just like you can deploy a website and use Shopify, you don't necessarily know you're using Shopify, but it's powering everything on the back end. It is making revenue based on this asset tokenization in the back end. So it's a service, an RWA based service, which I like because it's pick and shovels. It's not reliant on a single like private debt market. It's not reliant on a single real estate project. It is its own infra layer for pretty much infinite use cases in terms of tokenization, and it's not some vaporware. It's actually has official accreditation from the Monetary Authority of Singapore, so it has licensing. Not many other projects have that, and it has real partnerships, billions of dollars of real partnerships, which many of them will become clear very soon. So yeah, CHEX was a great one in the Mars High Club, by the way, and also on the YouTube. But I still think it'll go a lot higher. If you do want to join Mars High Club, link in the description below for the early crypto alpha. We've been absolutely killing it in that group recently. I think if we look here, we've had some killer trades, especially on the AI stuff. Like many of these are up 300-400% over the last couple of weeks. We've also had some bangers. I'm very transparent about my calls in the group, been updating these like percentage spreadsheets, and you can see that we are on a pretty big hot streak, hitting a lot of great calls there. So if you do want the early alpha, come join, be a part of the community. I'll be sharing a couple coins with the Mars High Club very soon that I've been doing a lot of research into. One of them is actually a utility play, so this fits into the current narrative perfectly. And then the other one is it's a utility play, but it's a little bit different. I'll get into that with the full thesis that I post there in the Alpha channel. The Alpha channel is pretty much where I post a lot of this Alpha first to give you guys the inside scoop as to what I'm doing in my portfolio. Obviously, YouTube's great. I'm always going to make sure the YouTube shows are super alpha packed. We're going to make a lot of money on the YouTube side, but I guess the good thing about Discord is I can, if I'm making a quick move, it's much easier for me to put out a post there versus making an entire video. It's just the nature of the platform. But I want everyone in my community to eat. Whether you are a paying member or whether, you can't afford it or you just choose not to join the Mars High Club, I still want you to be able to get a lot of value from these shows. And even the members in the group, they still watch all these YouTube videos because there's certain context I can give in video format as well. That's different. So I think they both go hand in hand synergistically. If you're watching these videos and you're getting the alpha and the information, and then you're getting some of the early alpha, some of the more nuanced stuff, you can ask me questions there, and of course you got all the traders in there and analysts to help you find more alpha and also help risk manage the trades. I think it's like symbiotic. I think it works really well together. CPOOL is the other one that I wanted to touch on. Another RWA coin that's doing big things. I mean, they just hit 650 mil in total loans originated. They have Ozean launching very soon. So I think that will be that catalyst in the horizon to give CPOOL a boost. That should be in the coming weeks. So I think overall, CPOOL and CHEX still for me are great plays in the market. My saying is buy pullbacks. I think in this market, pullbacks are a little bit of a luxury. So if you haven't been watching my shows, or if you haven't been in the Discord, you do have to just accept, look, if you buy after pumps, you're taking on a bit more risk, but there are things you can do to risk mitigate. Like look at the low, if you're buying it a bit higher, look at the lower time frames, use your indicators like the money noodle to track momentum, have risk management on areas where you'd potentially de-risk a little bit. All this sort of stuff you can do as price goes up. It's the exact same advice that I would give to people buying XRP. Like look at the lower time frame momentum. Don't look at the weekly chart, right? Because if you're actually entering, you want to enter based on lower time frame momentum. So 1 hour, 4 hour, if that's the game you're playing, if you're playing these trades on XRP, you might, if you really want to buy XRP, you can look at, okay, this is the floor. This is a level that I'd buy at on a pullback. If we go below, that could be invalidation. If this is a bull flag, I'll buy on the confirmation. I'll set my stop below. You have to start playing these games to like risk manage on the lower time frames, and it is the same for other coins that are massively pumping. I think CPOOL and CHEX, because of their market caps, you don't have to be as picky as something like an XRP because there's, in my opinion, like really high asymmetrical upside, probably higher asymmetrical upside than XRP. I think Link probably still also falls into this category. I'd say it has more asymmetrical upside just based on the fact it is still, if you look at its price now to its all-time high, 100% away. So that one, and it only just broke out. Like realistically, it's up, 138%. Okay, substantial amount. But what did it do last bull run from this level? It broke from that exact same low. When it broke the all-time high, it went up 423%. So, and if this bull run is going to be bigger than the last, and that's what we're kind of seeing now, I think there are so many more gains in this market. Just generally speaking, like I think there's just so much upside this bull run still yet to come. Obviously, you still have to implement risk management. Like I even said, I took some profits on Sunday. Some of those coins are now up, right, since I sold. But you always have to implement risk management over time. I posted on my Twitter today what my plan is in terms of taking profits this cycle. Just gradually, I'm around 20% stables now, but I'll go to 25%, 30%, 35%, 40% incrementally. So I am implementing risk management, but overall, I think there is just still so much more upside in this market. I really think this bull run is going to be crazy. And you're going to see at times utility do well, then times memes and AI are going to do well. I'll talk about that at the end, how I think that rotation could look. But yeah, let's continue going on with some of the coins here. So I talked about CHEX, Link, CPOOL is another one that I talked about on the, the 5th of October. If you do look at the chart, CPOOL on the 5th of October was sitting at 13. So now that's up 120%. So we've been crushing in the Mile High Club. Come be a part of the community there, of course, if you haven't decided to already. Another one that I want to discuss today that has very similar bearings to XRP and Link is STX. So STX is actually forming a rounded bottom, but the interesting thing about STX is that it has this strong narrative, because what's powering XRP higher, obviously momentum and community is one aspect, but the underlying narrative that's powering it higher is the fact that under Trump, US companies might become free from capital gains tax. And when companies invest in assets, they're going to be looking for the more traditional style crypto assets. Now, I think it can somewhat be a bit of a stretch, like practically how many of these companies are actually going to like add crypto to their balance sheet or adopt like, Ripple or something like that as a payment standard. But I don't think that's really what matters in crypto. What matters is that there's a narrative around this. And that is what we're seeing on the charts. XRP pumping, now Link starting to follow. And I think one that could follow next, and it also ties in really well with Bitcoin's performance this cycle, is STX, the Bitcoin layer 2. Because it has that narrative as well as being a coin that is also compliant with this whole like TradFi narrative. So I think STX is one to watch right now. I actually recently added a position here. So I still think you have time on this one, because once it breaks this level at 280, I think it can accelerate quite quickly. If you do look at STX's market cap as well, I think it's reasonable. Obviously it's a large cap, but I think it's reasonable, sitting at a 3.6 billion, and it's fully diluted as well. So yeah, for Bitcoin's premier like layer 2 infra network, I think there's definitely more upside on this. And as I said before, the Bitcoin narrative is another really strong component here. The fact that Bitcoin has performed so well this cycle and STX is like considered to be like a Bitcoin proxy, I think that also really bodes well for price action Bitcoin still has been the top performing coin this cycle in terms of just mindshare, not percentage wise, obviously, because it's a large cap, but mindshare and dominance until now. Now let's talk about another sector apart from RWA and apart from like TradFi compliant infra like STX that I think could be a beneficiary, and that's DePin. So like following on from this strategy that like ALGO's talked about, or this theory rather, that a lot of the XRP people are going to buy low cap utility coins. What is the definition of utility in crypto? Well, utility is, I guess, a coin you could do something with, maybe a coin that can link into traditional companies, can facilitate payments. It's a pretty broad term, right? But when you think about utility, what's the sector that has probably the most long-term potential utility-wise in crypto, given the current state of the market? I personally think DePin is definitely one of them, because we've seen, especially with AI, right, this huge, crazy demand and the lack of ability to service that demand in terms of GPU manufacturing from companies like NVIDIA. So DePin actually has that practical place in the market that, it's DePin, decentralized private infrastructure networks, are the backbone of a lot of crypto economies. Like if you think about how nodes work and how they power these networks and incentivize participation in a broader network, and how you have the token as a governance token, like this is real utility. So I think the market will wake up to that eventually. I think these may be like a couple of weeks off really running. So I think for now, RWA is like the most logical proxy. Things like Stacks, Link, these very obvious trades right now for me are strong, but I think it'll eventually go a bit more into DePin. One that I recently added was PINLINK to my portfolio there, and a DePin marketplace essentially for GPUs. And it also ties into the RWA narrative as well, because you can take real world assets and tokenize them on the marketplace. So I think it has, a nice narrative here to continue performing well. The other thing is, the small thing, but Becca is an advisor. That always helps. Having Becca on board when he has such a big retail presence and retail audience. It might be slightly left curve of me, but in a bull run, the big creators on YouTube, they have a lot of sway. Becca, Ran, Elio, these big presences on the YouTube side. When retail comes in, where do they go? They don't go really to Twitter or Discord first, even though there might be more alpha there sometimes. They go straight to YouTube, right? Even my channel, you'll probably see potentially over the next few months, the views actually increase as more retail comes in. So, guys like Becca, that being on board, him being on board is a major plus in my opinion. So that's one. WMT is another one that I've been in for a while. If you have been holding, well, congrats. Finally, this is doing really, really well. It was sluggish for a bit when the whole migration thing happened, but I actually said at 20 cents, it was an opportunity both in Discord and on YouTube, and that's performing really well now. And this is like the definition of utility, because they're actually democratizing access to internet worldwide. So the WMT token actually powers the infrastructure network, the DePin network, that is going to help all of these like mobile towers actually be operational for people to actually access internet, which I think is amazing. And that's, as I said, the definition of utility. So that's kind of where my head is at right now, looking towards a lot of these coins with utility. AIOZ is another one that's performing ridiculously well. I posted this chart in the Discord at like 46 cents as one to watch on the breakout. It's absolutely exploded. Also on the YouTube video a few days ago, I said at 70 cents that this one could be next, and it absolutely is. Exploded, actually breached its previous high from earlier in the year. So that is an amazing one. But looking at AIOZ and seeing how well I still think it can keep performing, right? But looking at how well it's performed, if I want to look at the potential next one that's in line here, a coin like Arweave is quite interesting, because this is another coin that's in a similar niche. They have their AI supercomputer. They also have their, storage network. They're pretty similar to AIOZ in terms of narrative. But I think there's been a lot of forced selling here from potentially VCs or someone that's suppressed price. If you're going to talk about utility, I mean, Arweave has to be in the conversation. So this one for me to stack with a bit more of a longer term time horizon, you have to make the distinction. Like when I talk about a token like Link or CHEX, they're a little more urgent. A token like Arweave may take more time to build, but if you prefer to just like DCA and just, build positions over time, and that's largely the strategy that I talk about on this channel, something like an Arweave could potentially be a great one for you, because it hasn't pumped yet, but at some point it probably will, just due to the fact that it does hit the right narrative, and it's been obviously subject to a lot of forced selling, and that it was a bit by the rumor sell, the news of the AI supercomputer. But yeah, it's one that I've started looking into accumulating again. Now, in terms of capital rotation, this is a very important point. You guys might be wondering, like, how do we actually think about the rotations in the market from utility to memes to AI? Markets in alt season typically work like this in crypto. So one sector usually significantly outperforms. Right now, that's XRP and utility. The market eventually dumps. And what happens is on these dumps, and this may happen maybe in a week or two, I don't know exactly when, it'll happen maybe some point before the end of the year. You'll see a dump, you'll see a retrace, right? It'll scare a few people, not everyone, but it'll be a nasty-ish shakeout. That's what tends to happen in the market. And on that dump, the market will reset. So what actually happens is, you get these waves and the market dumps. Then once the market resumes to the upside, sometimes you see those dumps as little resets. And on the next pump, new narratives start to emerge based on what held up during the dip. You can identify relative strength, and then new things outperform. This happened a lot last cycle, where you'd see the market run up really hard on L1s, which were always there throughout the cycle, right? But then you'd see a dump, and then gaming would be the next big narrative. So what I am looking for now is for utility to definitely keep outperforming in the short term, but keeping my eye on what the next rotations could be after that. And there are a few candidates, I think. I think it'll go back to memes at some point. I think AI, it's kind of utility, so it might run adjacently, but AI agents, it'll go back into that at some point. This is all just rotationary stuff, right? So it's very important actually not to over-rotate or over-trade and not chase shiny objects and just position yourself in quality stuff. Like, I'm not talking about CHEX for the first time today. We've been talking about this for weeks, even when it was chopping sideways a little bit and a bit boring, like, because I knew at some point it would run. Now, did I know XRP would run and trigger this whole RWA narrative? No. But I just had conviction in the coin, and I knew it was from a hot sector that at some point would do well. Exact same reason why I've been accumulating AI coins. Exact same reason why you could be accumulating memes right now. And I wouldn't necessarily hate you for that, as long as you have provisions in place in terms of your active liquidity for capital efficiency. You're not supposed to chase shiny objects. So if you think at some point memes will come back, there's nothing wrong with just DCAing into them. I think, yes, you can play rotations on trades. Like even Link, I'm like entering a trade slowly. Let's see how this goes. It could actually be good and accelerate. But that's like a short-term play because I'm coming in late. I'm not coming in a position where I think like I'm doing like big accumulation on dips because, it's already started to have a big move. Whereas there are other coins right now, like Arweave probably falls into this category where it's still in that accumulation phase. And if you do have patience, eventually a coin like that's probably going to run. Exact same thing as AIOZ, right? So many people got impatient with AIOZ. I spoke about it so much in the Discord. Everyone asking me, Mars, what's happening? I said, guys, watch the breakout. Once it starts to gain momentum again, this is probably going to wake up. It woke up, and then I said for a second time on the YouTube here at 70 cents to pay attention to it, and now it's at $1.10 again. So a lot of these protocols are going to just ebb and flow. That's what the market does. It ebb and flows. So yeah, buy quality stuff you like from strong narratives with good fundamentals, hold it throughout dips, be patient, and take profits when the market rips. That is the playbook. Now, I want to go through my Discord channel because there is a channel in my Discord called Questions for Miles, where at any time you can ask me a question. If you are a member there, I do my best to answer them. What I did yesterday to get through them all is I sent a voice message answering all of them. But I thought it might be fun to just do some on the YouTube channel today. So I just screenshotted a few questions from the last 24 hours that I got asked in the Discord, and I'm answering them here on YouTube. So let's do it. David says, do you expect a pullback from current prices on alts like XRP, XLM, and HBAR? I definitely do think they'll pull back. I mean, even on the lower time frames, XRP stalling a bit. Then again, it does have this pattern where it kind of does like this bull flag, fake out, pump, bull flag, fake out, pump. So I definitely think this can keep heading higher. I definitely don't think it's wise to fade momentum in crypto. Typically with a coin like XRP, if you want to call the end of the rally, you'll look for something like an inverse head and shoulders to play out with like the dip. Then you're waiting for the pump, the lower high, and then the dip back down to this level. Like that is a pattern that you'd look to play out. And the key thing here being the retest and the lower high to actually affirm, okay, the market's stalling, the momentum's, maybe done for now on XRP. So like, I don't think they're done yet, but do I expect a pullback? I don't really expect a pullback because like I just trade momentum, right? What I would prefer to do instead of expecting one is wait for one, see how it reacts, and then make an assertion based on that. Would I get into XRP right now? Personally, no. And hey, we could be 2x higher next week, and maybe I wish I did. But personally, I'm focusing on other stuff. Plenty of opportunities in the market. Plenty of stuff that hasn't pumped that looks good. Or even if it has pumped, looks like it has more upside than XRP. For me personally. Think Tank says, hey, Miles, seems like it's a rotation to RWA and gaming, not memes. Yeah, pretty much what I said earlier. Like, right now we're seeing this utility run. It's probably going to last for the next little bit. These rotations don't happen super quick. They take a couple weeks to play out. Then you'll probably see at some point gaming doing well. I think it's definitely closer to being in line because it's kind of utility, like outside of, the more like traditional utility coins. I think it may have a stronger likelihood of running first before memes. And then I think after a flush out in the market where a lot of utility eventually gets smacked, that's when I think the market resets and memes start running again. I still think memes will be a top 2 sector this cycle. I've said it the whole time. Memes and AI, RWA. Not changing now. Still many memes I'm accumulating. My lucky bag's very big. Let's see what happens with that. Hope it does well. I think there's some really good stuff for that coming soon. Even if you bought the dip, like I said on the show yesterday at $8.50, it's now at $12 again. So there's a lot to look forward to there. Doesn't even have exchange listings yet. So there's specific memes I'm getting into, specific memes I'm DCAing into as well. So yeah, it's just about patience, right? Don't over rotate, have patience, have conviction. If your patience is ever being tested, just remind yourself what the XRP guys had to go through and then what their reward was at the end. Leading on from this, Ima says, can we expect any gaming calls or possibly a gaming thread to discuss? Look, right now, my main gaming holdings, to be fully transparent, are Super and Beam. They're really the 2 major caps that I'm holding. Now, there are a bunch of like smaller cap games that I like. I'm even happy to go through here and take a look at some of them and maybe talk about some of them. I just think in terms of like picking the best gaming coins, for me, those two are the best. Like Beam, Super, they seem to have the most like staying power, but Echelon Prime's another one that I've held a lot of this cycle that's performing really well. Scrolling down the list a bit, I like Illuvium. There's like Nine Heroes, which has been laggy but could do well. Marvia's pulled off a lot, could do well. Vulcan Forge was big last cycle. Once again, could do well. I think a lot of these will do well. I think you can't go wrong in any relatively strong game. I'm gonna give a shout out to my boy Hustle/Johnny in this video. Johnny, if you're watching, well, this shouldn't be addressed to Johnny. It should be addressed to the audience. Audience, if you're watching, go watch Johnny. Johnny, if you're watching, hi. Because he has the best alpha here. Better than me. He knows the gaming space better than me. I look to his picks for a lot of them. But those are the picks that I'm in. And I think he would also agree. Like Super and Beam are pretty decent bets. I know Elliot also likes IMX and some of those safer plays too. So will I be posting a gaming thread? Maybe not yet because I don't have any updates. But of course, if I find anything, I'll share it in the alpha channel. I always, and then on the channel, because I'm always looking for new stuff, always researching new stuff. I have a whole research team who are just constantly finding stuff. I actually mandated them to search more into gaming because I thought it, might do really well. So yeah. Dr. Tribby here says, hey Miles, if you made one bet for the medium term, what would it be? Is Lucky your highest conviction play? I mean, I guess in terms of memes right now, Lucky is my highest conviction play just because I'm not taking profits and I continue to add and my bag keeps getting bigger. Like Pepe coin was my old like biggest conviction play, which ended up doing 100x. So I wouldn't say Lucky is like my most convicted coin in the market. Like it's so risky. It could go to zero. It might not play out. It might do really well. I just have conviction in it, right? But I wouldn't say I have more conviction in that than like a CHEX fundamentally. Like CHEX right now is my most high conviction RWA bag is pretty big and I have a lot of conviction in it. Some of the AI coins I hold, I have a lot of conviction in. So I wouldn't say it's my highest conviction bag, but it's definitely one of them, at least in the meme space, right? So yeah, that's what I'm still holding. And honestly, I even accumulated yesterday, which I mean is, yeah, that just shows, right? The fact that I'm up because I got in at $2 to $3, so average price around $2.50. I haven't sold any and I'm still buying at $8. So I'll tell you when I'm selling and starting to take profits, but it's not yet. And that does say something, right? Because I always preach taking profits and I haven't for a reason. And yeah, if you do want to ask me any questions, you can ask them in the Questions for Miles Discord channel. There's a few I got to get to now from overnight. Sometimes I text, sometimes I send a voice message in there. But I thought I would do some of them publicly today to give you a sneak peek of like the kind of answers I give and one-on-one stuff that I also give there. So yeah, if you do want to become a part of the community, link in the description below. Come join the Miles High Club. Either way, I'm going to see you tomorrow on the YouTube channel. It's going to be another big video. Every day is going to be a big video. Trying to give you the alpha every single day here. Sorry, I keep doing long shows, but just too much alpha to share right now in this market. I'll see you in the next one. Have a lovely rest of your day. And to everyone in the comments saying that I'm on drugs or something because I'm speaking so fast, I tried to slow it down a little bit today. I promise I'm not on any substances. One, I'm in Dubai, so that would be stupid. Two, I just really like coffee. So if my enthusiasm is construed for any nefarious activity, don't get the wrong idea. Today I tried to be a little bit more measured, I guess, in my delivery. But look, I'm just passionate about the market. So when I'm excited, I'll speak fast. I'll give enthusiasm. Like that's just me. I've got ADHD, got a lot of passion. I love what I do. So sometimes that comes across very enthusiastically on camera. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Peace.